Our desire at Tea of Life Podcast is to encourage you to seek, cultivate, and make your passions a part of your everyday life. You are never too old to cultivate your passions. We share real-life stories and conversations with those who are actively cultivating their own true passions. We hope to encourage you by sharing stories of our own personal trials and triumphs along the way. We encourage you to plan on joining us each week as we plan on having something here for everyone.
This is April.
And this is Tiffany.
And you're listening to the Tea of Life podcast, where we enjoy telling each adventure of life.
We hope that you enjoy listening today as we dive into this week's episode.
Hey, Tiffany, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am very good, and I'm really excited to be here today in our little makeshift studio called your dining room table / kitchen room table.
Makeshift studio? What are you talking? I have sound panels on the wall. We have microphones.
Speaking of which, one of these days we're going to record this.
How is this makeshift? I'm just kidding.
Well, what else is on your kitchen table? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
You ready to talk about something today?
Yes.
Okay. What do you want to talk about today?
What did you just have in your hand?
You know how we are passionate people. We're passionate about our passions and our listeners' passions and helping them find their passions. Mm-hmm. Well, I thought about something. This might come as a surprise to you, but this week when I was lesson planning, because some of us don't have the luxury of having someone tell us what all assignments that their kids should do.
Hey, there's pros and cons to both.
No, I'm just kidding. I chose this method. But anyhow, what I discovered was in my little teacher lesson plan book, and I mapped it out. I figured out how I wanted to have somewhat of a schedule. I understand that homeschoolers, you have to know that you might have a schedule listed for the day, but life is going to happen. I get that. But I at least have some sort of a plan because I like to plan. And in my planning, I discovered as I'm writing things down, writing down the page numbers that they've got to do, and I'm putting little clips for the pages to mark off our place. And I was getting into it. I opened my computer and I was looking on Pinterest for some center ideas. And I'm just like, what? I mean, it just blew up. I got so excited that I forgot that I had a family back there probably waiting for me to start school. No, I did it on Saturday. Saturday is my day that I'm just going to plan. And although it took me a little bit longer to do, this particular last Saturday, I decided that it was okay because it was my learning. Like how to plan, how to lesson plan. So I have a new appreciation for teachers. That's what my takeaway was from last week, our first week of school. I have a new appreciation for teachers because God bless you teachers who teach in the public or private school. I mean, you teach other people's kids. It was a chore at times to start teaching with my own kids, like when they're wanting to get off task. Anyhow, so maybe you can give me some advice there. But what I've noticed was my passion, it kind of stirred up. I started wanting to write curriculum for the parts that there's curriculum that I'm using. I've got everything taken care of. But I thought, what if we did it like this? And so that pulled out my little writing passion. And I said, you know what? I am going to sign up for this Hope Writers online course. And I'm going to learn about how to develop my writing passion because I keep talking about it. How long have I talked about writing or doing a book or doing something?
For as long as I've known you, I guess.
Hey, so I'm going to own it. I'm going to learn it, and I'm going to treat it real. I'm going to take this course, and I'm going to actually start planning time to write. So what I'm trying to say is, I did something this week that I didn't realize it would kind of give like a rebirthing or a charge to my writing passion, but it did. Did you do anything this week? Maybe you pulled out one of your passions?
What did we do this week? Actually, last week, Brandon and I did something that we've actually been talking about for quite some time.
Okay.
And been actually saving up for. And we took the plunge last week and we bought a sailboat. Woohoo! I know. So it was really great. It was kind of like one of those things to where we had been talking about it. I love kayaking, and so I had been wanting to get some kayaks for us, and he had been wanting to get a sailboat because he grew up sailing. I did not. I have no idea how to sail a sailboat. I've learned a little bit since we bought it, but I am not a sailor yet, and so I wanted to get kayaks, and he talked me into getting a sailboat. Well, I can't say he talked me into it like I went reluctantly. I mean, I was excited. I just didn't know what I was getting into. So we had been looking and looking and looking, and we just knew that it eventually would come. We just made sure that we were financially prepared for when that opportunity did come, that we were able to act on it, and finally found one and were able to get it. Yeah.
That's very exciting because you'd done the planning, and you knew that was a passion to do this together. And then the way things kind of happened is here's an opportunity you can't pass up, especially when you already had the money and that was something was on your radar to do. So that is very exciting. I'm going to call you Moana.
What? Who?
Didn't you watch the Disney movie? It's the new Frozen.
No.
Moana. Okay.
No.
You
I don't even
don't
know
have
who
small
that is.
children. That's right.
No.
So Moana, all of those listeners out there with small children who know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because she learns to sail. That's what the bottom line is. She learns to sail. She's not a
okay.
sailor, but her people are sailors.
Cool. But it's been great. Like, I've really been wanting something that all of us could do together. And so anyway, it's been great because we've all been out. The boys have taken an interest to it already. And it's been awesome to just go out there. We've been working on the boat and changing some things up and fixing some things the way that we want it to be.
That's really great. Something that your family can do and learn together. Like you said, you've already been doing something. I wonder what others out there have done. Like listeners, did you buy a boat recently? Did you buy a car, a scooter, something that you know your whole family could benefit from? I just want to hear. I just like hearing things about that because then it gives me hope that maybe one day I will be that thoughtful. Like I feel like I'm just going to look at you and go, yes, way to go. I am going to cheer you on. And we're going to be doing some podcasting from the boat,
Yes,
right?
we will. Mm-hmm.
Aren't there those people that homeschool on the boat? Weren't you telling me about
Boat
them?
school.
Boat school.
Yes. It is awesome. They have this, I don't know what kind of boat it is because I'm not a boat connoisseur, but they are on this huge boat and they sail the world. It's just a family and they homeschool on the boat. They go from Greece, they go to Panama, they go everywhere. And then they come back to Florida and then they'll stay for a while and then they'll go, up to Rhode Island and stay or whatever. And they'll sail around the Gulf And so it's just really, really cool to kind of see that.
That's exciting.
Doesn't that sound amazing?
That's like living the dream.
I know.
That's like finding your passion and kind of maybe you got on the boat and then you realized passion developed more. Like you took that
It really
step.
did because I really wasn't super excited about a sailboat because I'm not a sailor. I've not grown up on a sailboat. I don't really know how to sail that much. I don't know what it takes to do all that. And so however, I have been kayaking and I have done that in different areas and stuff. And I know that I've done that with friends. So that's been exciting to me. And so I know now that we can, have friends on the boat and experience that with them as well. But there's a little motor, like a little trolling motor on the back of the boat that just kind of helps you get in and out of the dock. And then once you get into the lake, you can put the sails up and take off sailing. And you don't need the motor anymore. So it's just a little, small motor that goes in the back of the boat. Well, we got out there the other day, and the motor that's on the boat currently is not the motor that we bought with the boat.
Oh, okay.
And so we're working on changing that out. But it's an older motor, so we get out into the middle of the lake, and the motor dies.
Oh, no.
So Brandon is working like crazy trying to get this motor to crank up again because we're going to need it to get back into our dock, right? We're in the middle of the lake. There's no wind, and we're stranded in the middle of the lake without a motor. So finally, there's some wind, and then there's not wind, and then there is wind, and we're trying to sail as much as possible. We're literally going across the lake and back, and we turn across the lake and back. We turn and go across the lake and back again because we're trying to figure out how we're going to get this boat docked. That this is the second time we've only taken this boat out. Mm-hmm. We're trying to figure out how we're going to get it docked. And there are people who are swimming around the dock at this point too, and there's other boats coming in, and we're just not really sure how we're going to do this because when you pull into our dock, you don't just pull straight in from the lake. You have to go around the dock and then go into our slip. And so finally, we get to the point to where all the swimmers had gone inside and the other boaters and stuff had left and the dock was empty. And we thought, okay, we've got to dock this boat that we don't have a motor for. Like the motor was not working at all. So we were able to use one of the sails, and which is the jib, which I have learned since then. And I know that probably means nothing to you, right? So we were able to use the jib. I feel really smart saying that. And
You sound really smart.
sail into the dock area. And Brandon had one oar that he was literally hanging over this huge boat, like into the water with this little oar. And I'm at the front kind of telling everybody, turn. But we did it perfectly,
That's
like
really
first
great.
time. I was like, we docked this thing better without the motor than we did the first
Right.
time with the motor.
I can just picture you going back and forth on the lake. That's why I was.
That's what we were doing.
But I was thinking there's got to be a life lesson in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But
But it was actually like Brandon's like, yeah, I never want to do that again. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I kind of needed that because now I'm like, hey, you know what?
This happens again.
We can do it. And so it actually gave me a little more confidence on the boat.
Yeah.
So it was, I think
like
it just kind of
it.
needed to happen.
But that made me think because you are a doer. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you have your mind set on something, Tiffany is a doer, you guys. What I'm trying to say is they've been talking about this sailboat. This wasn't like when she sent me the picture, this just happened. It wasn't like, why did they do that? That is so odd. It was a normal thing because they had been talking about this. And so I know that when Tiffany talks about something, it's going to happen. It's going to come to fruition. She's just like that. And I admire that. I'm trying to say nice. I admire that about you. That's what I'm trying to say. And when you say something's going to
That's
happen,
funny.
you have it.
That's really
Say
funny
it.
because I just had a conversation with another friend a few weeks ago, and I told her the same exact thing. I said, I just admire you because you do things like you say you're going to do it, and you actually do it. And I was not recognizing that in myself.
do.
So for you to actually point that out, thank you.
You are welcome. So, wow, my little planner story sounded, Who else can relate to my planner story? And then who can relate to Tiffany's, I got a boat. No, I was thinking about you guys out there in audience land. I was thinking about the course, which is a College of Continuing and Professional Education from Kennesaw State College. I saw in this was the opportunity to take classes. And not just that, but to find a passion. Like I know some friends who are like, I don't really know what my passions are. And in episode 6 that we did, Passions, was talking about, find something, just do something that kind of excites you and see where that goes, see if that develops. There are a couple of classes I thought about taking. One, I really do want to take sign language. I mean, and a friend from church want to take sign language, but it wasn't the season to take sign language right now. There was an opportunity, but it was only on Wednesday nights, and that's our nights to record. And so I was like, I can only focus on family, homeschool, and podcasting right now. So I had to turn that down. But it's okay. So that's out there. I'll take that one day. I will. I know I say that. I will. I thought in this course, there's a class called The Math Behind the Games. Let me just read this description because I thought, is this legal? It says, students will take an informative look into the mathematics behind the most popular casino games.
For real? This is
For real!
This is offered at our local college?
Yes, learn
like
how-
our university.
Yeah, so I thought, I mean, maybe I will get that boat. No, it says
So that combines both your favorite things, math and gambling.
math and gambling. God, I've never done that because I've been afraid, but now I'm going to take this class and I won't be afraid. Because it says learn how the games are structured, how the house edge is determined, and the best way to play to minimize the edge. See, I nerdy would like that. I'm using that new word, nerdy.
you would.
Stay with me here, listeners. I don't know if you've had to help your kids with math, specifically 5th grade and 3rd grade. There's some math. That's been a while since I've been 5th grade and 3rd grade. But so I've been talking about the cumulative properties of addition and distributive, I don't really remember these properties, but relearning these, like back in my day when you added numbers, you just put them on top of each other in columns and just added the the ones and then the tens and did that. And now they make you offer things like using a number line and then friendly numbers and then rounding. And it's like, what the heck? Why can't you just put 2 numbers on top of each other, draw the line, and add them? Because it seems like the other ways are just extra. But some people might learn that way. I get that. So I took that as a challenge, and then I started really getting into it. My 3rd grader and 5th graders like, wow. They're just, but I got so excited, which reminded me of the time that we were doing Gabriel's math at 6th grade. There's all kinds of things. So all I'm trying to say is if it's the season for you to try something new, just try something new.
I think that's really good advice. And
Thanks.
I take that even like with our sailboat, trying something new. We're trying something new. But the thing is, too, is like we didn't just go out and just buy a sailboat.
Right.
Like we waited until the time was right. So we had the money to pay cash for it. And then we bought what we thought was the best, for the money that we were paying. And so here's the deal with that, though. If we get into this a year and we don't like sailing and we realize that our kids are miserable with this, we can sell the sailboat.
True.
Like we can SELL the SAIL boat.
Make a good SALE. Make a good. Okay.
You're not locked into this.
True. That's true. Yeah, some of these courses, 65, 85, local community.
What a small price to pay,
small.
though, to find out if that is your passion.
Right. That bookkeeping course, I was like, I love this. A couple, it was just like 100, I don't know. I was like, oh, I like this.
I think, too, that do you think that maybe people don't take those classes because they're maybe afraid to step out of their comfort zone?
Yeah, I
Afraid
think
to step
so.
out of their schedule, afraid to rearrange their schedule, afraid to make any changes.
Because it's just easier to stay in
It's
status
easy
quo
to say
land.
no. It's easy to just step back and just not do it. It's easier to not apply. It's easier to not find the money to pay for it. It's easier to just sit back in our little comfort zone instead of stepping out to figure out, hey, am I passionate about this?
Right.
This is a great way for me to find out.
Right. I think, yes. And that's the same thing I want to apply with Rylan and her drama. She likes drama, and I found this course. I'm like, why not? 8-week course. I don't know, $85. Something. It's like, investment. Who knows? Maybe she's going to be the next enter famous actress name here, and then start putting us on a sailboat because of all the money that she makes from her acting. But in all seriousness, it just got me thinking that's the exciting thing about life.
Well, I think that is like good too because you're starting small with her. It's not like you go, oh, you know what? I think that she might have some talent.
Let's do headshots right now.
Of course, us being parents, we think that our kids are super talented, right? So it's not like you're thinking that she has all the talent in the world or that she is super passionate about it herself just because she's mentioned it a few times. You start small. You sign her up for these. If she does well there, you go bigger and bigger. It's not like you're investing and suddenly, putting her in something that is extremely overwhelming to the family that y'all aren't ready for. Baby steps.
I don't normally operate like that because I'm too fraidy cat. But I'm like, why? Because John 10:10 says, and I think it really applies here, is that the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. Jesus says, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. So when you're talking about sailing and we're talking about, just doing these things, I want to have the abundant life.
Right. And abundance too is that I'm not only passionate about being on the water. I love backpacking, hiking. I'm passionate about that, even though I haven't done it in a while and I'm ready to get back out there. I'm still passionate about that. I am passionate about homeschooling my kids. I'm passionate about my husband. I'm passionate about being a stay-at-home mom. I'm passionate about allowing my husband to be able to, continue the job that he loves, that he's passionate about, and help him pursue his passions. So we're not passionate just about one thing.
That is true. And I think they all they just kind of envelop you. These, just like characteristics of what you have. You have 2 eyes, 1 nose, 2 ears. Just like those parts of you, there's different passions that they blend and they encourage each other. They encourage you to do more. How is that right? It's just like the lesson plan, which applies to what I'm doing now. Made me go, oh, writing, which I know my husband's like, could you finish that little book that you want to finish? I've just realized that now is the time and I want to have abundant life. I don't want to be afraid anymore. I'm tired of giving the enemy, that. I'm tired of giving the enemy that joy. And like you said about the boat or about anything you do, it's like, so what happens if I write something and I'm like, yeah, I really don't like it. Then I'm done. I explored that passion. Check, done. Moving on. So that's all I have to say about that.
So with what we were talking about, it kind of leads me to what we were thinking about the other day about what we want Tea of Life to be and what direction we want it to go in and how we want people to perceive our podcast and the encouragement that we want others to have at our podcast. And I think we may have mentioned this before, but one of the things that we were kind of joking around about not too long ago was what do we call ourselves? And so one of the names that we came up with that
you
we
can go ahead and own it.
actually love
You named it. You hit it right. I won't take credit for any of this because it's just awesome.
I love it. So we consider ourselves now passion investigators.
Yes.
So when anyone says, "What do you do?" we say, "Hey, I'm a passion investigator."
What's your passion? Yes, I'm a passion investigator. I love it. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And we love to talk about our passions. We love to interview and give other people a platform to be able to talk about what they are passionate about and encourage others to operate in their passions as well.
That's exactly true. Where are you reading that from? Because I can't find that.
It's in my notes, my specific notes here. I'll copy it and put it over. All right. So
Yeah.
what should we tell people to expect from Tea of Life podcast here in the near future?
Great things. Great and exciting.
Convince me.
Convince you.
No. Okay. So I know that we have some people that we're going to be interviewing pretty soon.
Who are we going to interview?
We have a guy named Weston Slayton, and he
Okay, you
is
were telling me about
actually, so he actually used to work at our church. It was Stock City Church. He still works for North Point Ministries, but he is one of the actors in a kids environment called Kid Stuff.
Okay.
And so we're going to have him on the podcast. He's going to be talking about his passion for acting
That'll be fun.
and how he was able to pursue that. And also he does a lot of side acting jobs in the Atlanta area and stuff. So so he's like full-time seeking his passion. Love it. So we want to have him on talking about that and how he incorporates that into his everyday life. And also my friend Carolyn. Yes. You know her. So she actually traveled with Up With People back in 97. And we just want to have a conversation with her about what it took to get her there, because she ended up having to quit her full-time job.
Wow.
She had to go against obstacles of, financial obstacles. She had to fight through that. She had to not really fight people, but she had to go against, the desires of maybe some family members and some other people in her life who may not have completely, agreed with her quitting her job.
Right. Thought you're crazy.
And going and traveling for a year with this group. And so we really want to have her on and talk about that and how she did that and what inspired her to just fight through that and to go.
Right. I'm really excited, especially, because I know Carolyn and I want to hear all about just leaving that 9 to 5 and doing something totally going against the grain of what people are thinking. That's not the normal thing. You shouldn't do that. And so she just followed her dream at that season.
Right.
And then especially with Weston, the acting, because I think that's going to be fun. He sounds like a cut up, a card. I'm saying
he
that in a nice
totally
way.
is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, totally outgoing. And in fact, both of these guests that we're going to have on are completely outgoing. I know Carolyn has a degree in theater.
What?
I'm not really sure about Weston, but we'll find out
so
when we have
funny.
him on.
Yeah.
So when we have him on, we'll figure out, we'll find out about him. So I'm excited. We have some awesome things in store, awesome things that we're looking forward to. And we're also always in pursuit of anybody who is currently seeking and cultivating their passion in their everyday life. And we would love to hear from you. We would love for you to write into us and let us know how you are cultivating your passion into your everyday life. And we would also love to maybe even possibly have you on the show.
Especially if you bake, cook. These are not my passions, so I would totally benefit from you if you do any of
And you
those
have to
things.
actually do those things on the show.
Yes, we are taking baking and cooking applications at the moment. You could send in your said item that you would like to do on the show. We might even do live video that day. Hey, you never know.
Yeah, that is something
That's something.
we are looking forward to in our future as we want to start doing some live Facebook video. We would like to also
Everybody else is.
maybe even do some YouTube stuff. So those are some awesome things that you guys have to look forward to with the Tea of Life podcast. Those are our dreams. Those are our passions. And we are super excited about our future.
Yes, we are. So thanks for joining us. That's it for today. Tune in next time as we continue to dive into life.
In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. You can find us at teaoflifepodcast.com or follow us on Instagram at Tea of Life Podcast.
Until next time, in the words of Monty Python, make tea, not war.